Alright, so this is probably going to be one of my worst like made videos that I'm going to upload. But I'm waiting for Digital Circa, so I'm recording this. I'll use OBS on another day. Incomplete progress on this lovely little thing. A Freddy Fazbear's Pizza based from a mixture of my understanding of the week before and Return to the Pit. I do have both books, but I've started so many books that I just haven't read all of them. Plus things like Help Wanted for things that I don't know. So the backstage that I've used for the one mentioned the week before is the Help Wanted backstage with some alterations to match what the week before says. Got the party hallway, which is where I'm going to put the security puppet minigame with it going out that door and forwards. Back windows. Office, I'm currently having be a management office, which is just how I interpret it to be, especially considering we know from the week before that the powered doors only came in shortly before Ralph's shift. That little square right there is the, what's it called, office, not office, supply closet. We got this bit, which is just an area for employees to go. I think when I make a, so this is meant to be the location during 1985, by the way. So this is like that specific period of time. So there's some things that would change. Like for example, if I made a 1983 one, I probably wouldn't include Pirates Cove, since the week before mentions that Foxy was apparently initially on main stage. Weird thing, but yeah. So I think what I'm going to do for the expansions is make it a basement sort of thing that you can access through here. Not 100% sure, but I think that's what I'll do for when I do the 90s version. This is an entrance area. It goes through this area here. There's a door connecting that to the entrance bit there. It uses the kind of big block off space that Help Wanted does. I have this be directly connected to Pirates Cove. This is the backstage from FNaF 1. It's pretty much the same. This is from, I believe, from one of the pirate rides. I don't remember what specific rooms it is, but basically just a big T-shaped room. I decided to make the room bit down there connect to the breaker room, which I used, I think it's the Enid level of like the vent repair segments that I've based it on, which is why there's a big thing sticking out up there. Yeah, and only other thing that I'm going to note is that there's going to be a door there, and I've put space there because I'm hopefully going to try and make the toilets in some way functional. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but yeah, I've seen people talk about it on YouTube's tutorials, so trying my best. I've put a connecting hallway between the two hallways. That's the prize counter there. And one thing that I'm actually going to note, this is because of the click team stuff, I've put a window here. I know it's not very accurate, but it's neat, and it'll be gone by the 90s version, so it don't really matter. That's what I mean by not having the power doors. Doing this one-handed is a pain. Lights, I intentionally have function with minimal delay. Some rooms are decorated very well. Some rooms are partially decorated, so I think this is a more partially decorated one. I haven't fully finished it. So I've got like boxes sitting here. This one uses an armor stand using the Vanilla Tweaks data pack for them. Flower pots meant to represent like a mop bucket. I'll try and make a mop at some point for it. That's just a regular bee's nest thing. I should probably turn the light on, make it bit easier to see. Small shelves, whatever, however you say it. Another partially decorated room would be the entrance. As I slowly try and get in here within my time span. Just simple bin. It's literally just two hoppers, so I can try and have like a trash room, I guess. Well, desk here. should probably look at the phone so I can actually see that I'm showing it, but it doesn't matter. Locker, chair, uses the trick using the zombie Nautilus so you can actually sit on the chair. So, yeah. I'm a fan of that trick. Speed run this before the episode starts. So that's going to be where the ball pit and part of the arcade is, and I think I'm going to put because that's not a very big arcade, I think I'm going to put the rest in the party hallway. I think it fits quite well. Got Pirates Cove up here with a little back way into this backstage from FNaF 1. Again, it's pretty much just how it is. I decided to go with birch for whenever there are shelves. Not sure why, it was just what I chose to do. This is also how I pretty much do all the tables, so they're quite white. Light switches in the corner. I don't think I've put in the camera here. Yeah, so this is like one of the partially decorated rooms. Fully decorated rooms, or at least pretty much fully. We have this sort of T-branch hallway, so I've got monitors on the floor using different types of stoves. What's meant to be a coffee machine over here, I've used a crafter as the keypad. Didn't mean to press that button. Breaker room, heavily inspired by the Enid vent repair. I had to shift a lot of things to get this table in, but I think it works pretty well. The breaker does to an extent work, so long as it is flicked on. Every single light in the building will have a piston that will just allow the signal to cross. When flipped off, the breaker will basically just take away that piston, make it so any lights that are not presently on cannot be turned on. It's the best way I can do it because I wanted to use buttons for all the light switches and the light switches in the corner. That's going to be where the exit is. There's a bin there. That is the main way into the backstage. Stage right here. We got a camera up here. It's an observer facing the wall. Here's where Foxy would theoretically have stood, using the little circle that was on the floor in Help Wanted's final scene. And then we got my gorgeous looking animatronics. Truly, they do not look kind of weird at all. 4 hooks for the 3 animatronics. Got an endoskeleton on there that looks just beautiful. I have the table there, some heads and such, and we got a security camera that I've put up there to match how Ralph describes it, where he mentions there being the endo and the table and the shelves with the old heads on there, with all the suits being behind where the camera says, which fits with this sort of area. So yeah, that is my first little bit of this update for what I'm doing. I hope people like this. Next time I do this, it won't be because I'm waiting for the next Digital Circus video, so I will actually use OBS, because I do have it. I'm just trying not to miss out on Digital Circus, so yeah. It's just what I'm working on. I was doing it in Scrap Mechanic, but I gave up on that. Or at least temporarily I have. Might continue at some point, I don't know. Either way, working on this now. Thanks for watching. Bye.